Hello, beautiful people. How you doing? Mic check, mic check. We all good? I had to make some last minute adjustments. My apologies for being late, which I assume I am because of the time. I'm pretty sure I'm late. Thank you, Goldie. How y'all doing? I was just getting caught up on we have a functioning illiterate Donald. Motherfucker can't say acetaminophen to save his life. Now there are 3-year-olds all over the internet carefully sounding it out. Anyway, hello, welcome. Hit the like button if you have not already. It is just, there were a couple things where I was like, pull it together because the clock was winding down on the intro, and I was like, I can't start the live just like cracking up. But I just saw a headline that said Disney is raising its streaming subscription prices. And I fell out because double no. I just fucking thought that. I was thinking to myself, I'm going to have to ask the chat what is the name of the lamb. I literally.
Do you know who can say the word acetaminophen? I can say it. Acetaminophen, and I am just a puppet. Away. You know who can say the word acetaminophen? I can say it. Acetaminophen, and I am just a puppet. Away. Do you know who can?
Lamb Chop said, oh, wait. That was her creation. That was her creation. Lamb Chop was her creation. Oops, sorry. I said, because it doesn't have Lamb Chop's name, it has her name on the account. And I literally just thought, I was like, I am already late. I cannot be doing this. I literally just saw it, and I was like, I cannot remember that lamb's name. I'm so glad we're having this moment together because I was literally just like falling out over here. And I was like, I mean, data gives me some of your demographic, but I was like, I don't know. I don't know if folks, and Poison Ivy pops it up right at the top of the hour. Lamb Chop. Yep, that's exactly it. Let me go back because I fucking. Okay, calm down. That's not a quick one. Mallory Lewis. The account says Mallory Lewis. I was like, this is, oh my God, we are in the unprecedented times, y'all. We are in the unprecedented times. Or that's her daughter's account and that's her. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Maybe that's her daughter's account, but that's her in the video. I'm pretty sure that's her in the video. 'Cause I recognized her immediately. I literally, like, lost breath because what is happening right now? On the day of the rapture, I wore a good strong colors today. You know, I just realized I almost kind of matched the couch, but I'm a little bit more vibrant than the couch. But anyway, I was like, it's a special day. I don't know exactly what's going to happen, when it's going to happen, but I want to look good. No. No. Okay, that's fine. I accept that because this is how she looked when I was younger. So it makes sense that her mom is older. Bless her life. Well, baby, you better pull it together and get you some snacks. Ah, today's the day, allegedly. Good Lord. And I was a little disappointed in the people who, you know, the first thing they did this morning is get on whatever platform and start mocking the people who are waiting for the rapture that they said was going to come on Tuesday. I was like, "Well, they didn't say a time. It could happen at any time." Y'all ain't got no patience. Just hold on, let them have their day. Dang. Just impatient for the Lord. Just impatient for the Lord. Baby, I've been through so many the world is about to end. Lord have mercy. I did have a moment, all of you conspiracy-minded folk are gonna appreciate this one, because I did have a moment in putting my face on. Was it this morning? No, it was yesterday. I thought to myself, "I'm really bothered that I saw that show Paradise on Hulu." I was like, "I don't appreciate having, like, a potential but cataclysmic rational explanation for where this rumored rapture came from." Like, is it going to be attached to a cataclysmic human created disaster? We don't know. Fuck. We don't know, you know? I'm just like, I'm just going, you know, I'm not gonna mock anybody. I feel sorry for people because, you know, allegedly people are, you know, selling off their shit to the lowest bidder in the quickest possible methods. And yeah, I've seen and read some disturbing things. And, you know, this is one of those things where you just observe. You just observe. At least, I do. I do think it is utterly ridiculous. I think it's ridiculous because the rapture isn't in the Bible. So, all these human-made addendums to any revered text is a no-no. No-no. That's a no-no. Is another thing I don't wanna be around nobody who's feeling some kinda way. Potentially, I don't know. Apparently, this isn't something that has just popped up. This is what I was fascinated to learn. Like, it's just popped up for us, but apparently this date has been years in the making. And so there are people who are, bandwagoners who are hopping on, but there are other people who have been preparing for years to leave loved ones, spouses, jobs, all of that this week in America. I'm sorry. This is not a global thing. This is the other thing that's really crazy to me is it's not global. That right there makes me say, "Wait a minute, hold on. It's not global? It's just here." What? That would make me full stop. Like, hold on a minute. What kind of sense does that make? I'm so sorry. Oh boy. Mhm. There are some people who are falling out. "I was deceived." No, you are a dummy. You were a dummy. You weren't deceived. You were a dummy.
Just pull yourself together.
I'm bulletproof.
The great going up. Only at 3 p.m. Eastern in the Americas. Good luck. We didn't get an influx of people. No objectivity. Just let all objectivity go out of your mind. I am just like, we need to know these things. We need to know. I think this is honestly how I look at it. I've talked about the pressure of humanity particularly in this country, and that it is multi-generational, and that it's like both and at the same time. And we have, for a large part as a society in this country, been able to hold at bay for the most part because we keep going. So we accept the things that do happen in our society that don't make no damn sense, that are a threat to everybody's sanity and balance and safety. Because freedom of religion. So for me, even though I'm like, this is absurd and these people are ridiculous, I think that and I know this isn't in the DSM-5. I'm taking the broadest brush I possibly can intentionally. I think 90% of the people in the United States are a little crazy. We're clinically something. 90% of us are clinically something. And we just do not have the societal structure around us to support safe, holistic, healthy upbringing, because that requires equity. And a prioritization of equity. So I'm just like, this is just another example. There are people who are, sitting at home and waiting for the rapture. There are people who've been locked up for 72-hour minimum holds because they can't handle the actual concept in their minds. It's so overwhelming to them. So, yeah. Yes, yes, but I'd put a heavy asterisk next to that, right? I put a heavy asterisk next to that because that is a partial representation of the population that has access to be diagnosed with something. So it's a partial representation of those who have access, which doesn't even count those who don't even have access to get a diagnosis. So that 1/5, way low, way low. So donor's choice. What are we starting with? Sean Combs is last because he's really long. I had to pay a big fat one today to get that whole filing. And the agenda, if you didn't notice, has changed since the live was pre-scheduled to add to it because there are updates. I said donor's choice Afro butterfly. I just hate that he gets called Jerry the Mouse because Jerry doesn't deserve that association. Oh, he doesn't deserve it. Damn it, Erica. Fuck. Anybody? Anybody? Bueller? Megan versus Livingston. All right. Thank you very much for your support. Let me pull that up again because it looks like I timed out. For background for folks, I believe it was last week. Yeah, that feels about right. Aiden Ross filed a motion to quash the subpoena. Meg served at his house. He said he wasn't served, but he put the subpoena on the docket. So take that for what you want. Was he technically served? I don't know. Does he have the document? Yes. He filed a motion to quash that, and that was thrown out 40 minutes later because it was completely legally improper and not the route to go legally to resolve the issue of the subpoena. So pin in that. Then finally, after almost a week of chatter out of Livingston Allen about Megan Thee Stallion taking him to court in Jersey over his deposition. We went over all of this yesterday, so I highly recommend that you watch that because I'm not going to regurgitate everything that we learned from that, but I'm going to reference it. So if you want to know, you should watch that. Livingston had been saying for some time that Megan was dragging him into court in Jersey where his deposition was conducted for obstructing and not participating in good faith. Again, we reviewed all of the documents, read excerpts of the deposition that they attached. We went through everything. So check that out. Then I can't talk and do this one at the same time. I have to focus. Hold on. No, that's not the one that I wanted. It was this one. Okay. So initially, when Meg filed this, we finally got it. It finally freaking popped up electronically available yesterday, but the filing started on the 16th. And on the 17th, the judge initially set deadlines to decide their motion to compel Livingston on October 20th. And so what would happen between now and October 20th is the parties go back and forth on paper, submitting stuff on the docket, we read it, and then the judge makes a decision. What the judge initially said is this is going to be decided October 20th on its papers, which means your filings, and that the judge did not anticipate a need for an in-person hearing unless something very spectacular were to come up that would require oral arguments. So then Meg's lawyers submitted a letter to the judge and said, respectfully, Your Honor, this doesn't work for our timeline because we have trial in November and we need this as soon as possible. Respectfully, if you could please, by October 3rd, have set some hard finals, that would be really great. And so, not very long ago, the judge issued a text order, which means it just goes on to the electronic docket. There's no piece of paper. Okay. So they asked the judge, please, would you consider expediting this as quickly as possible? And right now, Livingston Allen does not have an attorney. He's representing himself. So they attempt direct communication with him as if he were an attorney. At any rate, the text order says, upon review of the motion to compel and petitioner's 9/20/2025 letter, respondent Livingston Allen shall file any response to the motion on or before October 1. The court will hold a telephone status conference on October 3rd at 10 a.m. Dial-in information will be provided, not to us, to them. The clerk is directed to mail a copy of this order to Livingston Allen at the address on file, and Megan Thee Stallion's counsel shall email a copy of this order to Livingston Allen. So ordered, Judge Day. Today, about 45 minutes ago. Maybe an hour. So that is a significant reduction in time. He has, math is not my ministry. Yeah, he has exactly 7 full days, a week and a day, to respond and, show cause as to why he should not be compelled to answer questions in front of a judge in a second deposition, to make sure that he participates in the deposition in good faith in front of a judge. I just want to say that. So yeah, he has a week and a day to respond, and then 2 days later, next Friday, they meet with the judge. So we looked at excerpts of his deposition yesterday, where I should just, I'm sure they did him a mercy by not entering the whole thing onto the docket, even though I understand he did, either stream it or take video of it or whatever. That video is now private and it is not accessible. Apparently, because I don't watch him, but I've got it on good authority that he's been bragging about how he, controlled this, that, or the other. They clowned him several times. And, there are people in the chat who were like, oh, Livingston Allen is a dry snitcher. So I'm just saying, just recapping. Yeah, Livingston Allen is a dry snitcher. And, no, in my chat yesterday, when I was reading the excerpts from the deposition. So we'll see what he does. We'll see if he decides, because doesn't he always brag about the fact that he went to law school? Am I confusing him with somebody else? Baby, are you sitting down? Are you okay? Are you all right? Oh, he wants to go to law school. Okay. 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 All right. Sorry, Afro Butterfly. Sorry about that. I can't remember. It's been so long since I made my Akademiks Nightcrawler scripted video that I did a deep dive on him at the time. That was well over a year ago. That was in the early days of this channel being like me being active on this channel. I'm so sorry, beloved. I'm so sorry. Yeah, he's an idiot. So we shall see if he continues pro se or if he gets a lawyer on the docket. We'll find out in a week. If you already got lawyers dealing with stuff, I mean, that means they're probably on speed dial. So bloop, bloop. Baby, it was I know they did him a mercy, and probably also themselves. And also probably strategically, if he does get a lawyer and the whole thing is there and the lawyers say, there, that wasn't necessary. They could have done excerpts or trying to embarrass my client. So, strategically, they filed what they needed to file and then said, can you please expedite this? And the judge said, actually, yes, I can. Actually, yes, I can. And I knew that was going to come quick. I knew that decision from the judge once we reread that letter also in yesterday's live. I knew that was going to come quick because it's a please, can you do this as quickly as possible? And that's about as quickly as possible as I mean, you can definitely do it quicker. You can definitely do it quicker, but 7 full days, 7 full calendar days, that's fair. Figure it out, bro. Since being a lawyer is easy, I guess you can do it yourself or call old girl. She's next on our agenda. Lord have mercy. So yeah, I don't think I think they did a pretty good job of oops, that was the wrong thing. I think they did a pretty good job of showing that the I'm a journalist thing, but just based on the deposition and they're back and forth about whether or not he is or is not a journalist. He just it is problematic when you behave as if you are unbothered by something instead of creating the appearance that you are unbothered by something. Because I don't give a fuck, I'ma say whatever in these depositions that are now, being challenged. Y'all are not helping yourselves. That is legal testimony. So I was thinking about this morning. I was thinking the people who think that they are successfully covering something are actually simply just exposing the fact that they are covering something. And that in its totality is evidence of a conspiracy. So when you say I'm a journalist, it depends on when I say I am and when I say I'm not. what time of day, what day of the week. Yes, I recognize I don't meet any of the standards of being able to call myself no, I don't do journalism. I editorialize. Yes, I speculate. Oh, all of that was my opinion. I don't like her. I think she's a liar. And the Tory is covering for Kelsey? Shtick that these dudes are running is crazy work. Unhinged. Completely unattached from reality. My favorite rapper of all time, which is Drake. You hell.
I study rap battles for a living.
It is crazy work. He's got fucking soliloquies and shit. And just tinfoil hat, psychotic boy, you sound crazy as hell. They said, do you remember when you said I could name 10 artists that have tried to pay me some money for something? Huh? Do you remember when you said, oh God, every time the attorney said, and I'm paraphrasing, actually, I was like, you couldn't even wait until this was over, knowing that this deposition may be subject to some motions. He was like, yeah, no. If he is ordered to participate in a new deposition and hand over information and he doesn't do it, they don't have to move for sanctions. The judge is going to hold him in contempt of court. Daily. Aggressively. In perpetuity. That means forever. Well, because I mean, kudos to Milagro Graham's lawyer. she needs to defend her client. She was like, okay, I just want to clarify one more time what you said. If she can in any way, shape, or form during the trial, during Meg and Milagros' trial, if she can, shift attention to less desirable characters, she gonna do that. She's gonna do that. She's gonna do that. I think you all have made it clear to me. I don't know because I don't consume her content, but you all have made it very clear to me that Milagro is not happy with these people. Yeah. So it is not uncommon when you are dealing with somebody who is representing themselves in a situation. That doesn't necessarily mean a legal situation. It just means a situation. They could have any kind of advocate or organization or whatever appropriate entity working with them. When they decide to go it alone and you do have an online meeting, you're definitely going to ask that person whether or not they are recording and by what means, and confirm that they're not recording, communicating with people outside of the room, all of those things. Those are things that lawyers know and they wouldn't do because they don't need to, because deposition is on camera and there's a transcript. If they want it, all they have to do is request it. They don't need to record it themselves. That's a redundancy. And if they do, it's not official. They can't take their recording and say, well, I got it. No, you have to have the official issued video or transcript. So, totally reasonable that they asked him about that, especially given it's him, especially since they were quoting him to him. They're quoting him to him. They know when he live streams. They know what he's talking about. They can see who he's live streaming with and what that person is saying and what they're saying to each other. And this, tiny tangerine energy that they're trying to use to fluff up their chest feathers like they're the biggest baddest bird on the tree. And like I said, I believe she gonna get it one way or another. She either gonna get it through this discovery process or she's gonna sue these people. Maybe she'll do both. Who knows? But again, the more that they behave in such a way that suggests they are trying to conceal information or destroy information, the only thing that they create evidence of is evidence of a conspiracy. Well, this is exactly what the chat has said. And we've read things on the docket. Screenshots of exchanges that she has had with people on social media, she meaning Milagro Grams, that she has had with people on social media since Unite the People bailed on her, basically. And she's not happy. And she said that she will never again in her life cape for somebody, cape for a man, like the way she caped for Tory. Because I'm paraphrasing from vague memories. They don't appreciate it and they don't protect you. Right. Right. Nobody believes that you don't remember who it was. Just for the record. Not after seeing that whole exchange. Nobody believes that. We believe what you said before, which was, I ain't gonna tell you unless I'm under court order. And then you thought to yourself, shit, I might need to say something a little bit more drastic. My mama couldn't make me tell you. God couldn't make me tell you. I'm not gonna tell you. Okay, bro. Coolio, Joe. Coolio. Let's move on. Just feeling a little long black bias. Shout out to everybody who's watching. Hit the like button. I look forward to seeing what it is that he does. If he gets a lawyer, or if he represents himself, if he tries to ignore this whole situation. It's in the long run not going to bode well. I don't think she's gonna give it up. Okay. So, let me look at my timeline. We are switching over to Nicole Key versus the world over Like That and Everlasting Base. Nicole Key was the rights manager for Everlasting Base, working with Rodney O and Joe Cooley. Rodney O is being sued by the Barry White Trust over an alleged copyright infringement with regard to Everlasting Base. Nicole Key butted in, turned into a whole thing. They filed a separate lawsuit against Metro Boomin, Future, Kendrick, the Barry White Trust, two of the Barry White Trust lawyers, John Doe's 1 through 10, Epic, Sony. I think I pretty much got it covered. Whether or not that lawsuit has been appropriately served to parties, as we've discussed several times, who the hell knows? Okay. But now I do need this one. Okay, great. Joe Cooley settled with the Barry White Trust in the first lawsuit. Rodney O was initially in this lawsuit with Nicole Key. He withdrew and has a very reputable law firm helping him in the first lawsuit. And they're probably going to come back onto the docket in the second lawsuit because Nicole Key is asserting that she had 50% ownership of Everlasting Base, which was used in Like That at the time the lawsuit was filed. And Rodney O disputes that. I think that's the easiest and fairest way to say it. She said, well, I'm going ahead with this lawsuit. The judge hit the docket recently, interestingly enough, and said, it appears you may have served some people successfully. We'll see. She has certainly entered documents onto the docket suggesting that she has. But the judge said there's nothing for Metro Boomin being served on this docket. So by today, you need to explain to me why it is I should not dismiss this case with prejudice against Metro Boomin. With prejudice meaning you can't file it again. And so today, Nicole Key entered a letter onto the docket. We're not gonna read it. It doesn't really matter. Instead, we are gonna get to this document right here, which is what came out like 2 hours after, which is the judge's order. This action was filed on April 29, 2025, based on a request by plaintiff Nicole Key. An order of August 1 extended the deadline for service to August 29. An order of September 15 observed that service has not been completed on defendant Leland Wayne, also known as Metro Boomin, and set a deadline of September 23 for the plaintiff to explain why her claims against Wayne should not be dismissed. In a letter of September 22, okay, so she entered it yesterday, but it popped up in my notifications today. In a letter of September 22, the plaintiff claims that dismissal with prejudice would be improper, but does not address her failure to complete service on Wayne. Dismissal based on a failure to effectuate timely service is generally without prejudice. Accordingly, it is hereby ordered that the plaintiff's claims against defendant Leland Wayne, also known as Metro Boomin, are dismissed without prejudice. So he's out the lawsuit. If she wants to if she wants to sue him, she's going to have to refile. Anybody who has been properly legally served this lawsuit, there's a long list, and again, it's not clear. That's being generous. I would go so far as to say she has not. But it's unclear. Okay. But the judge basically laid out an all call to people. Like, if your name is in this lawsuit and you have been properly served, you need to respond by October 6th. There are some parties who have waived service and just said, give me that shit. So there are definitely going to be some responses, and we will see what happens. Now, if other people, besides the people who said, give me that shit, which is lawyers, not Future or Kendrick, for example, not them. If they don't enter the docket by October 6th, and she, for example, moves for default judgment, at that point in time, service, whatever she served on them that is already on the docket, comes under scrutiny by the court. Is this actually, right now the court just eyeballs the docket and sees one lines: receipt of service for this party, receipt of service for this party. Is she necessarily going in and looking at everything, what has actually been submitted, what is actually the proof of service? And does this actually look like it was proper that would warrant some kind of default judgment in her favor? And then, as I said, I think that regardless, Rodney O is going to come back onto this docket in some way, shape, or form, whether it is through like a declaration that he submits, that one of the defendants or all of the defendants submit as an exhibit, saying she's not an owner. He could come onto the docket as an interested third party because he owns the song and she is asserting that she owns the song. He could sue her. I also told you that he offered her money and a deadline of last Friday. We know she did not accept that because here we are talking about it today, with her saying yesterday in a letter to the judge, please don't dismiss this. And the judge saying dismissed today. From what I looked at, and I said this before the last time we talked about this, okay? There are rules that you have to abide by when you serve somebody and when you need an alternate method to serve them, you have to ask the court for permission. And we've looked at this in other situations, right? Drake v. UMG, where Drake has come onto the docket in more than one instance and said, I need permission to serve somebody by alternate means because the traditional method isn't working. You need the court's permission to do that, okay? It would appear to me, my opinion, period, based on what she submitted on the docket, that certain parties were served through alternative means. And I do not recall or see where she requested the ability to do that. I believe I saw an extension of time to serve people, but not permission for alternate means per se. So, and nevertheless, the people that were served, I do believe were served in the original window. I could be wrong, but I think that they were. And so somebody pasted shit to people's front gates. That would be a method of alternate service. They may have also emailed it. They may have also snail mailed it. That doesn't necessarily mean that you properly served it. It means you sent it places and you posted it places. But did you hand it to somebody who could reasonably be perceived to be over the age of 18, with access to and knowledge of the person you're trying to serve? So we'll see. I don't know. I am just as eager, but I can tell you that there have been some initial deadlines that have passed, and then, as the judge alluded to in this order, there have been some extensions for things, but there have been some deadlines that have passed where I've been like, somebody's there, it's going to be today. Somebody's going to come onto the docket today. And then literally nothing happens. And that's what made me go back and start looking at, like, what is going on? And so technical delivery of and service are not the same thing. So who knows? We may see Future, for example, or Kendrick, for example. Those were, to my recollection, definitely Kendrick, but I'm pretty sure Future too, were served by things being posted on gates outside of properties, because there were photos that have like a visible, like, house number on it. It is distinctly possible that on October 6th, or very near October 6th, a lawyer hits the docket and says, this was not, and we've seen this before in this case, this was not properly served to my client. This was the Barry White Trust. We waive service. We accept this shit. We would like the court to acknowledge that. And then they proceed to throw hands. So that could happen. You may have somebody who says it wasn't proper. We're going to just fucking ignore it. We don't have to respond. You don't. You don't have to respond to something that was delivered and not served, but you could. And we've already seen that in the give me that shit people who have told the judge this was not properly served. We waive service. We will hit the docket on the 6th. Thank you very much. Curtsy, bow, and they leave. So, and we know from things that Nicole Key put on the docket last week that Rodney O's lawyer is in communication with at least some of the defendant's attorneys. And they've made it clear that they're ready to throw hands. So In the original lawsuit, which Nicole Key was not a party to, Rodney O did finally get a lawyer. They accused Nicole Key of making shit up on the docket in either Rodney O's name or Joe Cooley's name without their permission, consent, knowledge, etc. Like fraudulent filings on the docket. Put that in writing. In a joint update to the judge from Rodney O's lawyer and the Barry White Trust lawyer. And then asked the judge, like, do something about her. Jointly. Rodney O, with the assistance of his attorney in the first case, withdrew from the second lawsuit. I think where Rodney O and the Barry White Trust are right now is, damn it, what's the term? Mediation. Arbitration. I think they're in arbitration. They're trying to come to some agreement, is my guess. And that's just a natural part. They either can or they can't. The lawsuit's still going. So this is just a step in the process to, do we have to go to trial? But I said, arbitration is coming. It is the best chance he has of getting out of this as mostly unscathed as possible. He's still there's still sanctions hanging over his head that could come down. Like, it's still pretty bad. But that left Nicole Key. He also, voided their co-ownership, their retroactive co-ownership agreement of Everlasting Base. And what she's saying is, well, I was a co-owner when I filed this lawsuit, so I still have standing. And Rodney O's lawyer is telling her in emails, no, you do not. And if you continue to go forward with this, ma'am, everybody is going to show you no mercy. So it's about to pop off in 2 weeks' time. I'm looking forward to it because goddamn, we've been waiting. And as soon as Rodney O got a lawyer, boy, oh boy, it's like we went from being just out there in the wild, off-roading. We went from off-roading in like a pocket universe that we've never been in before. Terrain we don't know, to being back on a smooth road, to that road still having dips and rivets and oh shits. But we're going the speed limit. Everybody got their seatbelt on. Well, except for one, but she's not in our car, So everything got better. Everything got better when he got a lawyer. Everything. Thank you. Thank you very much. Oh, I'm dealing with a whole bunch of complicated-minded people who just have to be in it, who just believe they have discovered something that nobody else has discovered, who believe that they are the savior or the answer or on some righteous crusade where they are the hero and the victim. And the victim. But end soon come. End soon come. Good God, just a waste of everybody's time and energy. And, selfishly, I really do want the judge to just do a full audit of the docket and figure out what is what. What is what? Good God. But I don't know. We'll see. That's another motion that's just kind of hanging out there. Okay. It's been so quiet without this big head man. I've really been enjoying it. Let me take a bite of my cold but delicious food. It's terrifying. Pretty terrifying. But it's not uncommon, you know? It's definitely not uncommon. And again, I'm real disappointed about the second lawsuit because I still have questions about the licensing agreement. And I wonder if Rodney O is going to take it. Well, no, he's not going to take his own action. So, I mean, if he doesn't have a problem with it, it's really not for her to say anything. If she's not a co-owner. So, even though his Rodney O, when he withdrew from the second lawsuit, he requested, I'm pretty sure he requested to withdraw without prejudice. And the judge approved that. But I can't remember. All right. Boy, howdy, are we in it today. Mods, send around them links. I can't believe we about to talk about this big head boy. We ain't talked about Diddy in a minute. There are things that come onto the docket all the time, and I just ignore them. I look at what they are, and then I'm like, okay. I'm keeping pace with what's being filed and blah 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 blah. And I know he has a hearing this week, and I wasn't really waiting for this because I don't necessarily care what people what people on his side have to say. I am interested in what his lawyers think they have in terms of what their argument is for sentencing. Yes, we're going to look at some letters, but I'm more interested in what do they say about sentencing, because I believe in 2 days the feds are going to submit what they think is the appropriate sentencing. And that's the one that I really want to see. I really want to see what they think is appropriate. So, but we're starting today because yep. The defense submitted their whole package. You know what's crazy? This is just one document. Okay, that's fine. The first document is 182 pages. The second document is 133 pages. Let me go back. The first document is 182 pages. It's a sentencing memorandum on behalf of Sean Combs. The second document is 133 pages. It's a sentencing appendix on behalf of Sean Combs. The third one is filed under seal, so we're not going to see it. The fourth one is filed under seal, so we're not going to see it. I didn't look at any of this shit. I downloaded it, ran it through the old mass watermarker, and kept it pushing. Oh, wow, they are tripping. Okay. This is some sentencing guideline stuff. I know you can't see it yet. I'm still getting making sure I have my documents in order. Case references, additional identified cases, and then some letters. Let me do some scrolling here so I can cut right to the heart. I'm pretty sure there's got to be a table of contents here. Jesus Christ. So this is the sentencing memorandum. Here's the table of contents. No, we're not going to look at every single page. Authorities, introduction, argument, Mr. Combs' history and characteristics, the death of his father, dedication to his family, career and work history, created a family for his business colleagues and friends, dedicated to inspiring those around him and helping people believe in their own potential, contributions to the community, his positive community impact by inspiring and helping other inmates. Drug use history, medical diagnoses, both before and during incarceration, are important to understand life and past anger management issues, behavior improvements, effect of Mr. Combs' trauma, and why Mr. Combs is now considered a low risk of sexual violence or domestic violence. Nature and circumstances of the offense. Consenting male escorts, no profit. More about drugs and Cassie. The guideline range should be 6 to 12 months. And acquitted conduct The guidelines range should be 6 to 12 months. And acquitted conduct must not be used in any way to enhance the sentence. Any sentence greater than 14 months would create unwarranted sentence disparities that should be avoided. He has already experienced just punishment. A sentence of no more than 14 months. That includes time served. They're not talking about 14 additional months. This includes time served. Affords adequate deterrence to criminal conduct. So 14 months is enough to change Diddy. And then we get all this stuff. All right, here we go. My understanding is that there are letters in here, and then there is a separate, my last document is additional letters. The government accused Sean Combs of heinous crimes. It branded him a evil trafficker and racketeer who coerced and defrauded his girlfriends into having sex against their will, but none of that was true. And Mr. Combs exercised his constitutional right to fight the allegations and put the government to its proof at a jury trial. And at that trial, the government deployed the full force of its awesome power. For 8 weeks, it presented the best evidence it could muster to support these disturbing allegations, but it failed to prove them because the trial revealed the true fact. 12 attentive jurors heard all the evidence, participated in jury nullification, but we're going to move past that. They heard the testimony of Mr. Combs' girlfriend. They saw thousands of text messages. Okay, blah, 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 blah. Like I said, there's a lot of documents to get through, so we're definitely going to be doing the hardest of skims. Oh yeah, I think they basically want him to walk out of jail that day with time served because he's being sentenced October 3rd, and he's been there for almost 13 months. Okay, so they get into obviously a lot of legal this, that, and the other. Uh, okay. Yeah, so this is just their narrative with legal. This is their narrative of who he is. As well as their argument for what they think is a fair and just and legally appropriate. And like I said, I'm probably not going to read this thing because I'm more interested in what what the government has to say and comparing and contrasting. How far apart are they on these things? So interviews with people who know Sean, who say his absence is taking a noticeable toll on the children. Former employees. One of Miss Porter's best friends. Former chef. Longtime friend. Former girlfriend. So these are excerpts. We will get to the letters. I'm also just acquainting myself with these because I will go back and look at some things in detail with regard to actual sentencing. I'm not interested in a full narrative of his life. Philanthropy, blah, blah, blah. Oscar says hi. Positive impact on those around him. That's interesting. Psychologists, different evaluations of him. Psychology record references. Statements from his sister, again in a letter. He reflected to the probation office how the legal process and incarceration has affected his outlook on life. There is a price you have to pay if you're blessed with success. This is something I never knew or accepted. Success has a steep price, and that price is responsibility. Responsibility. Really, I thought that price was being persecuted as a black man. Anyway. And that price is responsibility. Responsibility is a scary word. Most humans dread responsibility. I know I did. I really thought success and money gave me freedom to do whatever I wanted to do with no real consequences. I had to learn the hard way. It's unfortunate that it took me being incarcerated to learn this valuable lesson. I have to admit that I have been irresponsible with the life God blessed me with. I have been irresponsible with the gifts that God blessed me with. I ran with the responsibility. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. Oh my God. This is just. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. I used to call myself a king, but I didn't act like a king. I didn't act like a man. If you don't pay the price, you eventually fail. I have learned that everything I say and everything I do matters. It all matters. I have a responsibility for it all. With responsibility comes sacrifice. Oh, this is the most egotistical shit. What the fuck? None of these sentences together don't mean anything. Your lawyers are arguing in this exact same document that the only reason why you're in this situation is because the government unfairly targeted you because you're black. But now you're saying something about responsibility. Success has a steep price, and that price is responsibility. Responsibility is a scary word. Most humans dread responsibility. I know I did. I really thought success and money gave me freedom to do whatever I wanted to do with no real consequences. If you don't pay the price, you eventually fail. I have learned that everything I say and everything I do matters. It all matters. I have a responsibility for it all. With responsibility comes sacrifice. In the future, I will sacrifice what I want to do for what is best for all, not just me. I will be selfless instead of selfish. Selfishness is a disease. Selflessness is a gift. This situation has made me become a man that knows and understands his responsibilities, a man that is ready to sacrifice and do what's right over my selfish desires, a man that is ready to pay the price. I am accountable. I am responsible. I didn't get shit out of that. Oh my God. Wait, where'd it go? There it is. I didn't know what responsibility was. Your lawyers are arguing in this same document that you have so much responsibility. You solely, period, are responsible for so many things. and that you have taken responsibility of so many things. And that's why you need to be out of jail, because all of the things that you are responsible for are not in jail. I got nothing out of these sentences except for some bullshit. It started early. I'm gonna tell you where it started. And that price is responsibility. Responsibility is a scary word. Most humans dread responsibility. I was like, if the next sentence has the word responsibility, I'm gonna lose my shit. I do not get self-reflection out of this. I don't get introspection out of this. I get like, this is the most juvenile, surface level statement. I swear to God. Y'all are coming through for me today. Y'all are coming through for me today. Your Honor, he was an altar boy. Oh, that was a classic moment. It really, really, really does. It really does. This situation has made me become a man that knows and understands his responsibilities, a man that is ready to sacrifice and do what's right over my selfish desires, a man that is ready to pay the price. I am accountable. I am responsible. These are the results of someone who has always tried to learn from his circumstances. However, before these 13 months in custody, he had never truly learned about himself and his flaws, to engage in the serious therapy to help him understand his issues. As long as he's still calling himself love, that motherfucker ain't fixed a fucking thing. Heretofore, motherfucker, your name is Sean. You're almost 60 years old. Just be Sean. Don't dye your hair when you get out. Be Sean. So this is redacted from us, but there is a version that the judge has that is not redacted. They cite, some journals and studies. Those redactions are from one of the, I believe, psychologists treating him. Consenting adults were involved. No profit. Drugs and lifestyle played a role. He had a domestic violence problem unrelated to the offending conduct. Six to 12 months. The court cannot rely on acquitted charges or acquitted conduct. I was wondering if they were going to address conduct. Anything that he did that could be tied to the charges he was acquitted of. They're splitting a hair as carefully as they possibly can there. Okay. I don't have the foggiest idea who these people are. Well, I know who Janice Combs is. Keisha Combs Dent, Dallas Austin, Tiffany Brown, Wanda Lane, Justin Combs, Quincy Brown, Robert House, Normandy Keith, Ebony Electra Ware, Marsha Irving, Karen Lindsay, Chance Combs, Delia and Jesse Combs. Mm-hmm. He wasn't charged with physical violence against her. What is Young Miami's name? Let's just start there. I should have looked that up. I don't have the foggiest idea. And I doubt it's listed here as Young Miami. What's her last name? Did I read it already? No, I didn't. Okay, let me look. Boy, you are getting on my nerves. Okay, there it is. Exhibit 35. Dear Your Honor, my name is Karesha Brown Lee. I'm a mother, daughter, sister, and a hip hop artist who has spent many years in the public eye. I want to be clear that I cannot speak on or defend anything that may have happened before I met Sean Combs. I do not condone any wrongdoing. I can only speak from my personal experience and the man I've come to know over the past 4 years. For 3 of those years, I was in a public relationship with Sean, and during that time, I witnessed and came to know a different person than the one often portrayed. Behind the scenes, he was loving, genuine, supportive, and always encouraging. He motivated me, believed in me, and helped me grow both personally and professionally. I'm writing this letter because I believe it's important for the court to know the side of Sean that isn't always seen or spoken about, the man who poured into others, who gave opportunities, who led by example, and who loved deeply. He helped shape me both professionally and personally. He believed in me, pushed me to grow, and taught me how to be a better businesswoman. He helped me find balance between. Why does this feel like deja vu? Didn't we read a letter from an ex-girlfriend when they tried to get him out of jail at the verdict day? I knew it. All right. Well, produced by the same writing team, I suppose. He helped me find balance between chasing my dreams and being present for my family, because that's what he did. No matter how busy he was, he never missed holidays or special moments with his family. One of my most meaningful memories was when he took me to my first Met Gala. It wasn't just about the event, it was about what it represented. Sean has always made it a priority to open doors for Black people, to make sure we are seen, heard, and valued in spaces where we've historically been excluded. That night reminded me that we belong in every room, at every table, and in every conversation. He's constantly encouraging me and so many others to dream bigger, walk in confidence, and never shrink who we are. You think because he took you to the Met Gala that that is the equivalent of making sure Sean Carter having some kind of power to make sure that Black people were represented at the Met Gala? He doesn't have shit to do with the Met Gala. What is wrong with these rich ass biscuit heads? He's a man of God. He took me to the Met. What the fuck am I reading right now? Guys, I don't like it. Hold on. One of my most meaningful memories was when he took me to my first Met Gala. It wasn't just about the event, it was about what it represented. Sean has always made it a priority to open doors for Black people. Bitch, he didn't even open the car door for you at the Met Gala. What are you talking about? Has she been on the cover of Vogue? Did I miss something? No, I didn't. To make sure we are seen, heard, and valued in spaces where we've historically been excluded, that night reminded me that we belong in every room, at every table, in every conversation. He's constantly encouraging me and so many others to dream bigger, walk in confidence, and never shrink who you are to make others comfortable. He also gave me a voice by providing me a platform on his network to speak for the culture and connect with people in a way. I am so horrified. Why is nobody donating to my suffrage campaign? I need treats. Oh my God. I need sedate me. Sedate me. Y'all buy your girl some edibles because what is happening right now? Is this real? Oh my God. I feel like I'm being tortured. Oh God. Oh God. Oh. Oh. He also gave me a voice by providing me a platform on his network to speak for the culture and connect with people in a way that was real and authentic. That opportunity changed the direction of my career and showed me the impact one person can have when they choose to uplift others. Beyond all of that, I've seen him give back to his community over and over and over again. In 2022, we fed the homeless together on Thanksgiving. I can't. Oh, God. I'm getting a headache. Ah, ah. I've seen him give back to his community over and over again. In 2022, we fed the homeless together on Thanksgiving, but that was just one example. There were so many moments where he gave quietly, privately, without cameras, because his heart genuinely wanted to help. I also witnessed him doing real inner work. He made the choice to check himself into anger management, start therapy, and commit to physical healing through therapy. That takes strength, humility, and self awareness. He didn't do it for show. He did it because he wanted to grow and to become a better person. In my personal experience, Sean is not a danger or a threat to the community. He is a man of God, someone who uplifts, supports, and inspires those around him to be better mentally, physically, and spiritually. But more than anything, he's a father, and his kids are the ones who look up to him the most. They need him, his presence, love, and guidance. I agree. They do need a father. That would be nice. Matter deeply in their lives. I truly believe that he belongs at home with his family, the people who mean the most to him and who continue to be his greatest source of purpose and strength. Judge, dot, dot, dot. That's a good man. This has a fucking exhibit sticker on it. Hey, beautiful. It's good to see you. Was there anybody else's name that you all heard in the news as having submitted a letter here that you would like me to suffer through? Oh. That's not funny. That's not funny. That's the equivalent of me threatening Rick Ross's titties. That's not funny. Oh my God, thank you so much. Jesus Christ almighty. So, yeah, if nobody else has something where they're like, pull this letter, I'm not going to go through all of these, but if somebody comes up with something, I will. They're obviously very easy to find in the stack of documents. But again, we will discuss this in detail in a couple days when the state submits what they think should happen. And on that one, I'm probably going to read it before we go live, and cut some things that we can focus on, or mark some things for us to specifically focus on. But this is just, they're doing their absolute due diligence. They think, anything over 14 months is exorbitant or a violation of some kind, and he by their math, the risk is low. We don't have the third party sentencing recommendation. I don't know if we're going to get that on Friday or not. We will just have to wait and see. I think it's Friday. It might not be until next week. Let me look. I know that he does have a hearing this week. He filed for a motion, an acquittal or retrial. So he's got a court hearing on that this week. That's on Thursday. Let me see if I can hopefully quickly find. God, even when nothing is happening in this case, seemingly, when it's not in the news or blah, 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 this docket is forever growing. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it is next week. At any rate, it's coming quickly. Excuse me. Okay. Well, too much shit. I feel like I'm so close. Is this it? The government. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Anyway, sorry. state government submissions forthcoming. Okay. Oh God, we made it through. We made it through. Let's hit the LBG and talk about what is happening with the Jimmy Kimmel show. Munching on something. It'll be nice to have that back in the timeline. Because, yeah, the timeline is really dusty. This is south of the border, right? Yeah. Yes. Great. Okay, great. No, Princey. No. I'm not falling for it. No. Okay, so the likelihood of you turning on your television tonight at 11:30 and seeing Jimmy Kimmel is slim to none. His show is slated to return today. You're not going to be able to see it because both Sinclair and Nexstar are refusing to broadcast it. Between the two of them, they pretty much have the market cornered. Boy! Between the two of them, they pretty much have the market cornered. And they've just flat out said no, they're not going to do it. They're going to preempt the show. This is going to cause inevitable problem. And you know, this is another reason why I said turn off your Sinclair affiliate station. Turn off your Nexstar affiliate station as well. But even though the FCC and the DOJ are corrupt and inept, and aren't going to do anything to, you know, put Nexstar or Sinclair Broadcasting in check, they are going to suffer the ramifications of their own actions immediately and swiftly. You can only preempt contractual programming for a legitimate emergency reason. And the layers of contracts associated with what show airs when and airs what ads where in the country, let alone the world, baby, you must be kidding. They are going to make themselves almost immediately liable from one direction or the other. Could be advertisers, could be ABC or Disney. It could be it could be viewers in their markets who file a class action lawsuit. I'm not bullshitting. I know there is a lawyer who's thinking about it. So they have refused to air his show. And I have no doubt whatsoever, none, that they've never changed their position. And so I have no doubt, therefore, that ABC Disney knew when they announced Jimmy Kimmel's show is coming back that they weren't going to air the show. The Jimmy Kimmel show is being put back on air because everybody told Disney to fuck off. On the right and the left. So now we have Sinclair Broadcasting. They're the ones leading the charge. And Nexstar is just like, yeah, we're going to do it too. Because they're hoes. But I wonder what Disney is prepared to do. And I wonder what Jimmy is going to say today on his show. He should stream it live on YouTube or something, because it's not going to be anywhere else. It's going to be in like 3 to 5% of where it is supposed to be shown in the United States. So, because they've just decided we're not going to air it. So I really wonder what Disney / ABC are prepared to do here, because the longer they do that, the more leverage ABC and Disney have. You don't need to involve the FCC. They're not going to do shit. You don't need to involve anybody else except the federal court. So Sinclair, and by extension now Nextar, I said from the beginning, this is going to backfire on the people who have decided to be dumb and weak. So I was not surprised when everybody started canceling their shit, and I was right there doing it too. It's going to backfire. That backfired on Disney and ABC. On Disney's entire portfolio, it backfired. Their whole portfolio. Because they are a global company. The harm that they just suffered from us didn't just come from us. It came from people around the world saying, fuck no. So they're in a predicament there, right? Sinclair Broadcasting is thinking about USA and the markets that they control. That's it. Disney is thinking people all over the world are divesting from us. That's a huge problem. So you want to play chicken? I hope they're prepared to play chicken, because again, if Jimmy Kimmel donates money to anybody, or if ABC or Disney does it on his behalf, that's public information. We would know, unless it was a family to family donation. But if he gives it to Turning Point USA, that has to be publicly disclosed. He will lose all credibility with his audience. So they know people want to see the show. And they know that they are intentionally withholding it from people who want to see it. They know that the topic, and I have no doubt Sinclair Broadcasting has lawyers who are telling them, the circumstance of Jimmy coming back on air and the crux of it, First Amendment, freedom of expression, et cetera, is a matter of the public interest. Meaning, you are weakening your position in a legal arena in just saying, well, we find it offensive, so we're not going to. That's not how it works. And if the FCC won't enforce what your contractual obligations are, a federal court will. Aside from that, you've got, again, if you are not, people pay for advertising, not just willy-nilly. That shit is calculated. What day, what time, what market, what products. We're not seeing the same commercials when we're watching the same show, depending on where we are and what the market dictates and what is available locally in our region. So companies are going to start to get pissed because they paid for that. So what are you going to do? Are you going to comp? Or are you going to get sued? Also, there's pass-through dollars from Disney and ABC to the affiliates, and they could just not give it to them because you're not upholding your contractual obligations and your reason is bullshit. So they may feel like they have a lot of control right now, but they don't have a lot of power. Here's the other thing that I was thinking of, because I have a relative who used to work in the guts of a news station like his whole career. And so I know what an affiliate station is capable of doing. And so here's what I'm going to be looking for this evening. I'm going to be looking for any affiliate, and I know major news media is going to be looking at this as well. Are there going to be any affiliates of Nexstar or Sinclair that run the show anyway? They will get fired from their job. But are they going to run the Jimmy Kimmel show anyway? Because this is bullshit. It would not surprise me if at least a couple people did that. If at least a couple people said, fuck this corporation. This is bullshit. We control the switches here. What you can't, we're the ones here in the building controlling who sees what. They sent a memo saying don't show this contractually obligated thing. I have a feeling somebody's going to be like, fuck them, run the show until they get somebody flying into the building at 11:42 at night like, you're fired, I've been promoted into your job, and they shut the show off. But it would not surprise me in the least bit if an affiliate station manager says, fuck you. And they don't say anything. They just run the Jimmy Kimmel show. We'll see what happens. But this is a stupid standoff. And if Jimmy Kimmel, I'm perfectly fine if Jimmy Kimmel wants to try and smooth the edges, but I also need him to stand on business. You can smooth the edges. I need you to stand on business, and I need you to eviscerate the president your first night back. Because you can, and you should. And that's the whole fucking point. So, but if you fucking sell out or bend the knee, if that's the plan, then they'd be running his shit. We wouldn't even be talking about it. We wouldn't even be talking about it. It would just be Jimmy Kimmel's coming back, and it's going to be broadcast everywhere. But no, Jimmy Kimmel's coming back. It's not going to be broadcast anywhere. So it's not over until somebody flinches. It's irrational, right? Because it's like, it doesn't mean what they thought it used. It doesn't mean what it used to mean. And this is a different situation, right? This is a matter of the public good and a matter of public interest. So as long as people who are, excuse me, let me just not complicate my words because I can barely think as it is. As long as Disney and ABC are prepared to weather the storm for a month, and that's an overestimate, because I would imagine right now, as we are having this very conversation, there are lawyers gathered on a conference call just talking about probabilities so that they can be prepared for whatever the fuck it is that they need to do or file. like an emergency federal injunction to stop Sinclair from doing what they're doing or whatever. But because the portfolios of media are more diverse, right? Even though Disney, for example, is taking hits fucking across their entire portfolio, they have the assets to fight this and be okay. Like the damage done to them through losing subscribers, that's done. Some people will eventually come back, some people won't. Not helpful that they announced a price hike today. That just cracked me the fuck up. Like, dear God, left hand doesn't know what the right hand is fucking doing. You must be joking. But anyway, today is what? Wednesday? Tuesday? What's today? Tuesday. Yeah. If this isn't resolved by Friday, they're going to go to court. And Disney strikes me as a preemptive strike motherfucker. Because the Nextar and what's his bucket, I'm certain that they think that they can come up with a legal action as well. So they've obviously already not made any progress, and now they're putting the show back on air. But as I said, when they announced Jimmy Kimmel will be back on air on Tuesday, they knew that Sinclair wasn't going to broadcast the show. They want what they want, and they're not willing to budge off that. And that is where people fuck themselves. We want this no negotiation period. If the other party is like, well, we're not going to give you that. Well, we want this no negotiation. Well, we're not going to give you that. Like, what are you left with? Not a lot. You're going to start pissing off people in your own backyard. You've already pissed off people in your own backyard who are saying this is wrong. Then you got to deal with viewers, people boycotting, picketing, all this shit. They're bringing it on themselves. Bad strategy. Bad strategy on their part. I would be right there with you. I would be right there with you. It is not that much. People are being hyperbolic and adding up all of the things together. People are just piling on right now. It's not. Yeah. Whereas in reality, I turned off my Sinclair network channel over a decade ago. I don't need them. First of all, I don't support what they're doing. They've always been one of the shittiest, period, in terms of quality of news here. We've had some great anchors, but just in terms of quality of news, just hasn't been that, there's nothing that they were definitely never at any point in time in my life, my like go-to for anything. So once people figure out that they actually don't need you, they will let you go. It's that simple. It's not like people don't have access to other fucking news. They do. Other conservative news as well. So I definitely don't think it is the flex that they think it is. And it's not going to fucking matter if they don't run Jimmy Kimmel's show tonight. That shit's going to be everywhere tomorrow. I think what they think is going to happen is he's going to cancel the taping. And he's not going to do that. If he does that, they're waffling. And that's problematic. I think they think that they can force him into not taping the show. That shit's going on YouTube. Immediately. Immediately. 1/5 of the network market will see it on their TV if they tune in. Otherwise, that shit is going to be on social media post haste. That shit is going to be on social media before the show airs. Well, they have pre-ticketing, but around the block. Are you kidding me? They're there now. They're there now. That audience is going to be so loud. But that's going to be a massive reality check. Yeah, he has a live audience. I'm sure they would take phones, but people people leaked what Stephen Colbert said at his taping the day after Jimmy was taken off air. So they're going to tape that show and they're going to start pushing out content. If they tape a show today, we're going to see it. We're not going to see it on TV because the majority of us don't consume it that way any fucking way. As somebody pointed out, when we were having our conversation about how canceling shit, we're going to experience these things the way God intended. Clips on social media out of order. Oh, man. I love it. I can't stand Gavin Newsom. And I, again, can't stand the Jimmy Kimmel show. I don't like it at all. I don't like his interviews. I don't like, his typical shticks that he's got going on. I don't think he's funny. I think he's actually problematic in ways that disproportionately affect Black people. All of that remains true and is not going to change for me. Period. I'm also going to watch this fucking show. Because that's my right. As a God-fearing American. It's our goddamn civic duty. I'm going to make popcorn, have snackies. I'm going to pout. I might cuss. I'm going to give him a slow clap for sure. For sure. Because there was a point in time last week where I was like, oh, well, we're never going to see Jimmy Kimmel on the Jimmy Kimmel show again. Never, 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 never. But I underestimated how, first of all, it happened right before we went live. So I had no time to actually think and really process a lot of the things that we're talking about today. This isn't a local or America situation for Disney. It's global. It's a huge problem for them. But yeah, there was a few solid hours there on the day that it happened where I was like, he's never going to be back on television. And then within 24 hours, I was like, well, something's going to happen. Because the swell of outrage on both sides of the political spectrum was fucking undeniable. Undeniable. And that was heartening to see. That was heartening to see. And I wish that conservatives, Republicans, whatever you want to call them, thought about that more. This is one of the very few times where they have really been like, no, 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 no. The Democrats could do this to us. We can't do this. Explicitly because the Democrats could do this to us. We can't do it. Now, in theory, the Democrats could do the opposite of every fucking thing that you have done. But this one in particular really freaked them the fuck out. And I don't pay as much attention to Nexstar. I'm starting to, just because the merger that they're trying to get into with What's Its Bucket is all bad. It's not Sinclair, it's the other one, Paramount. That's all bad. But the situation has evolved in quite a fascinating way. So for me, I just hope that, can't believe I'm about to say this. I hope Jimmy Kimmel returns with the appropriately sized big dick energy. Yeah. I mean, they're already fucking kids out of PBS, so you know they don't give a good goddamn about Disney. You're not even going to be able to hear him because people are going to lose their minds. I'm sure his staff will probably also be in tears behind the camera because how utterly terrifying. And the other thing that I noticed is that I think that the other late night hosts basically lampooning the situation last week, but talking about it this week was a good move. Because if they would have all just come universally scorched earth, I don't know that that necessarily would have been beneficial in this situation. They were critical, they mocked, they lampooned. Their messages were very clear, but they didn't come in with like, to camera monologuing in that way. They did skits and shit. But last night, well, obviously John Oliver got his off on Sunday, and they're all in contact with each other, but it was starting to percolate. We might be getting an announcement that Jimmy Kimmel is coming back. That was starting to percolate by Sunday. So John Oliver had his show. He definitely talked direct to camera. Jon Stewart lampooned last week. They had skits, good ones, but they had skits last night to camera. So Stephen Colbert will probably also be more to camera in addressing the situation. It was smart. It was really smart because you can stand up at any point in time and get more forceful if you need to. And mocking and humiliating and lampooning, I mean, the thing that was beautiful is they didn't just do something else. They each engaged in the tradition of the lampooning of, the mocking of people in power. which is a small d democracy standard, as old as positional power in this country, as old as the presidency. So it's not like it wasn't meaningful. It was definitely meaningful. Because those are the things that we would not see again if we couldn't be critical or mock or make fun of or joke about people in positional power. We wouldn't get those kinds of skits and content and things like that. So very smart, very measured. It was forceful. It was forceful in its own way, but it was measured as well. And it gave them room to decide what the pace of escalation was going to be. And that was smart. And they also didn't do anything that would negatively blow back on their friend while he's in the middle of the fucking fire. Right? So, smart strategy all the way around, I thought. It feels like it's like 5 or 6 o'clock. I keep glancing at the clock like it's only 3 o'clock. What the fuck? Oh my gosh. Okay. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting, guys. It's going to be interesting. Anything else we need to talk about? The jury convicted that one dude in Florida of trying to assassinate Trump on the golf course. That trial was like a week, if that. It was very short. Very, very brief. I am just really like, what? Okay. Jeez. Still got several hours to the day left. Wasn't really prepared for that. Oh, yeah. Fat Bear Week. Very important. Very, very important. Log on to social media, search Fat Bear Week, and watch fat bears compete. It's really great. There's a bracket and everything. Lots of fun. Oh, yeah, me too. That's why I was like, it's Wednesday. No, bitch, it's only Tuesday. Oh, fuck. It's okay. We're going to get through it. Wait, like bears the animals? Yes, bears the animals. All kinds. All kinds of bears. This is a real thing with real living bears. You go do your homework. I just told you how to get there. I appreciate you checking to make sure that it wasn't like indecent or whatnot. And I don't know if you gonna see a bear's ball sack while he catching a salmon. I don't know. Okay. All the images I've ever seen have been tasteful. Okay. But if you want to see some fucking units of some bears right here in America, Fat Bear Week is the one. Man, I'm just like, it's only Tuesday. And it's so crazy because so much is happening today. You would think I would be locked in, right? Jimmy's coming back, Rapture is happening. I still am just like, my body is like, it's Wednesday, dog. It's Wednesday. Yeah. Right. Fat Bear Week, aka Safe for Work Bears. I feel you. I feel you. This one, though, is totally on the up and up. It is totally justified. You get to vote. You get to vote for your favorite fat bear. You know? Pretty great. The bears are very bodacious. Kim Tillman said, I absolutely didn't think we were talking about the animals. We're talking about the animals. Fat Bear Week. Bears. Those kind of bears. Not kind of bears. Oh man, that sounds so good. I'm gonna finish my food and just decompress my brain from the biscuit head assery. Scroll the news. I don't think I have any other meetings today, so that's great. Nothing's dinged at me, so knock on wood, nothing does. Yeah, we covered a lot. If you haven't shared this live already, do so on your way out. For those of you who have hype points, feel free to, hype this one if you see it available. There's all kinds of criteria to shit. I don't really be knowing. I'm just throwing it out there. I'm not gonna be devastated, if you don't do it. I'll just judge you silently. And then people will get Rick Ross titties next week and you'll know why. Y'all have a good rest of the day. Obviously, if anything spectacular hits a very specific docket that we're all waiting for. People, it trips me out. I have to remind myself they just don't know. But people who come into the comment section or come into the live stream and are like, what's the update on the Drake v. UMG? There isn't one. Fuck. My ass will be on fire the moment there is one. Yeah. So, should that happen, I'll be back. But otherwise, I'll see y'all soon. Take care. Peace.